Hello everyone and welcome back. If you're new here, hello, my name is Kenzie, and if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate everybody's love and support. So for today's video, we're going to do something a little different. Instead of doing a repotting video, which I know I've done a lot of, but mainly that's just because I have a lot of plants that need to be upsized or repotted in general. So for today's video, we are going to talk about my top 10 favorite plants. If I had to restart my collection, these are the top 10 plants that I would choose. Now, I have created a list of my top 10 favorite plants, but I have categorized them from, I don't really know how to say it. It's not like my least favorite to my most favorite because all 10 of these are my favorite, but I did put them in order from, I don't want to say least favorite, but they're still my top 10 favorite. I just put them in order, I guess, based off of like favoritism. So I know this has kind of been like a trending video that other people have done. So I figured with my collection, I will do the same. Now, keep in mind, guys, my collection of plants is nowhere near that of some other individuals that have 300 plus plants. I don't think I even have, we'll say 75. I don't even think I have 75 plants. I'm not really sure. I'm actually gonna have to count them and I will let you guys know. But we are gonna go ahead and get started with my first favorite plant. Okay, so the first plant on my list is a relatively new plant to my collection. It is a plant that we unboxed together, I think. I don't think so. I think I had to do this one on my own time because there was a shipping, not a shipping issue. It just didn't come in with the other boxes of plants that I had ordered. But my first favorite plant that I would choose if I had to restart my collection would be none other than the Variegated Christmas cactus. It is just such a beautiful plant. I feel like Christmas and Thanksgiving and Easter cactuses are just such classic plants, like so timeless. Everybody has one, whether it's variegated or not. I would say more often than not, people have the non-variegated Christmas or Thanksgiving cactuses. I don't know very many people that have an Easter cactus, but the holiday cacti I feel like they're just so popular, and if you don't have one, I highly recommend that you get one. They are a bit, slow growing. They are considered cacti, but they're not like your typical cactus that can go days or weeks without watering. You treat these ones more like you would Hoyas and, Monsteras. Like, they are considered aeroids. So I don't know, they're just so beautiful. Such a good classic plant. And mine's not very big, like I said, because they are slow growing, and she does have a lot of albo leaves. So it's taking her a while to grow. But once they get full, they're so beautiful. So this is number 10 on my list. Such a good classic plant. Now, I did try to choose plants in my collection, like one from each genus, but I don't even think I have 10 separate genuses to be able to choose from. So a lot of these are going to be duplicates from the same genus, but I will say this next plant is the only plant in the genus that I chose, and that is my Anthurium dorayaki by crossed with forgetii. Such a beautiful plant. I've had this, I got her at the beginning of the year, and she was an Etsy purchase, and she was so tiny. I think this is one of her original leaves, is this one. But she has just turned out to be such a beautiful plant. By far one of my favorite Anthuriums that I have. She's been such an easy grower. She's starting to get some crisping, and I think it's just because she needs to be repotted. She's in a 6-inch pot currently, and I don't even know if you guys can even see those roots. Look at that. She has got so many roots. It's crazy. So I don't know, just such an easy plant to care for. She hasn't been very picky or finicky, and yeah, I don't know. She's just always hung out with my other plants. And when I moved her into the plant room, she has been the only Anthurium that has not thrown a tantrum as far as conditions are concerned. So she's been pretty good, very easy Anthurium to take care of. So this is the Anthurium dorayaki crossed with forgetii. Okay, this next plant that we have, we unboxed together. So this is a newer plant, but this was a big time wish list plant for me. She is still very small. She's actually getting ready to push her second leaf in my care. It'll be her third leaf total. But I am so excited to see this plant grow out. And if I had to restart my collection, regardless of the size of the plant or maturity, this is a plant that I would get again in the future. And that is my little bitty baby Monstera jungle mint, no ID. I can't say I've always wanted one. I didn't really start getting into Monsteras until this year, and I've just seen other people have them and like their pictures that they have of theirs, and just such a stunning Monstera. You just get all the colors, all the tones, and they're just such a beautiful plant. She is starting to push a third leaf right here. So hopefully that'll push out here in the next couple of weeks. She is in LECA. All of my Monsteras are in LECA. And currently she lives in my plant cabinet, and she seems happy. She did not shock when I put her from the moss perlite mix into the LECA. So she's adapted pretty well to my home conditions, or at least to the plant room and plant cabinet conditions. But yeah, if I had to restart my collection, regardless of size or maturity, this is a plant that I would have. Got pretty. Okay, this next plant is a plant you guys have recently seen, I think. Yeah, I think so. She is obviously one of my favorites, seeing as we're doing my top 10 favorite plants. But when I initially bought this plant, I was not sure about it. I was told it was one thing, and as she's grown, it's definitely the same plant, slightly different variety. And she has just turned out to be one of my most favorite plants that I own. When her leaves come in, they are just this most beautiful, stunning, almost like shimmery purple. But that is my Hoya mitrata Borneo silver. When I first purchased this plant, I was told it was a buntock, but it is a Borneo silver. It is a round leaf. Buntocks have more of a long, narrow leaf, and these are definitely more rounded. And then the new leaves, when they come in, get this beauty. They're like this pretty, I think you call it like pubescent, like leaf texture. They're very soft, very like satin-like, but they're, they come in like this pretty purple. I don't know if the purple is just like sun stressing, because she is in my cabinet. She does get a lot of light. But I will say most of her leaves have come in that way. So I'm not sure if that's normal. She has rooted pretty well in this since I repotted her. But yeah, very easygoing Hoya. She is the first Hoya on my list. But yeah, very easy to take care of, not finicky at all. I water about once a week. But if you do not have this plant in your collection, I highly encourage you to purchase one. Yeah, I don't know. The leaves are they're not thick, you know, they're very thin, but they're very, I don't know, they're very, they're very soft, very, I want to say satin, like very silky feeling when they're brand new. And then when they harden off, they're still soft. They're not even like the leaves, like when they harden up, they're still like flimsy, I guess, but they're still really soft. I don't really know how to explain it. If you have one, you'll know what I'm talking about. And if you don't have one, I highly recommend that you purchase one. But yeah, this is the Hoya mitrata silver borneo. Okay, what number are we on? We are on number 6. So number 6 I've had for, I would say, a while. I think I got her before summer. Such a beautiful plant. It is a Hoya, and this is my Hoya ladia galaska. Look how freaking stunning that variegation is. So pretty. This was the first leaf that she came with, and then she put on this leaf and then these two. For some reason, she's blasted the last couple nodes. So this node here, and then this node, she's blasted the leaves off. So I'm not really sure what's going on. Hopefully these ones here at the top do okay. They're both coming in together, so I'm hoping that they won't blast off, but we will see. I do think she is, in a savage way, asking to be repotted. The mix that she's in is not a mix that I care for. I have a few plants that are in this mix, and to be honest, after I'm finished filming, I'll probably end up repotting her into the chunky mix instead of whatever this is. This isn't the soil that she came in. I had actually ran out of the Molly's Aeroid mix and I was pretty desperate. And so the Molly's Aeroid was out of stock. So what I did was I just ordered something else, and I regret using it, but here we are. But anyways, so Hoya ladia galaska. She's also been a really easy plant to take care of. She lives her best life in the plant cabinet under high light and humidity. The plant cabinet right now is sitting at 78 with 62% humidity. So conditions are pretty ideal. In the summertime, that cabinet will get into like the 80s, 85 range. I'm not sure what the plant room itself is gonna go up to in the summertime. So that'll kind of be a work in progress between now and then. But as far as the cabinet is concerned, she does live a pretty good tropical life in there. And she's also been a really easy plant to take care of. Some people said that they were really hard to care for. In all honesty, she's probably been one of my easiest laid back Hoyas. And then these Hoyas, this is an Ache variety. And Ache Hoyas usually have that nice, pretty indicative, you know, purple veining on the back. Look how pretty that is. But yeah, that variegation is to die for. I don't even know if the camera's picking it up. I think the camera's glaring it out, but it is just so pretty. You get those light green, dark green, almost like a lime green. Yeah, so pretty. 10 out of 10, recommend if you don't have one, a Hoya ladia galaska. Okay, this next plant is none other than my Hoya polyneura albomarginata, or outer variegated. Look how beautiful this thing is. Such a beautiful trailing Hoya. She started off as just a couple cuttings, and I've propagated her, and then I ended up purchasing another, like another cutting from a totally separate seller. So there is a couple different genetics going on in this pot, but some of her leaves are just to die for. Look at that variegated, those variegated leaves right here. This has also been a very easy Hoya to take care of. I don't think any of the Hoyas on my list, -1, are like finicky plants. For the most part, everything that I chose have been super easy, very straightforward as far as care. Nothing has been like finicky, nothing throws hissy fits, and the polyneura variety are just such hardy, easygoing plants. Very go with the flow. They've got, for some reason, I think they have some of the coolest roots, and I don't know if it's just because their roots like cluster. But yeah, look at that root growth. Such a pretty Hoya, very easy to take care of, very low maintenance. I do have several polyneura varieties, and the polyneura varieties are by far some of my favorite Hoyas. I wanted to pick all of them or just lump some polyneura into one category, but I told myself I had to choose just one. But I have all of the polyneura varieties with the exception of like the newer varieties. I think there's like a variegated king polyneura, and then there's I think it's an ice queen polyneura, and I don't have those. The ice queen polyneura is essentially the same thing as a jasminca, which I also have. I think the difference between the ice queen and a jasminca is I think that's what it's called. It's a polyneura ice queen, I think is what it is. But or maybe it's snow queen. I don't know. It's something queen, but it looks just like a jasminca, except it has more silver versus like the splash. But this is my polyneura jasminca. Isn't she stunning? And she started off with just a cup with, I think I purchased her as a 1-node 2-leaf cutting, and I've only had her for a few months, and this is what she's grown out to be. She does have this really pretty, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, albo stem coming in, and it is, I would say, about 95% white. There is a small sliver of green, but I don't think any of that green is going to transfer onto the leaves. I think it's just going to be an albo vine, but such a pretty plant, the polyneura varieties. I do have I have the OG polyneura, the all green one. That's only a 2-leaf cutting. I just acquired that one. I do have the polyneura silver. I don't know if it's broguette or broguet. I don't know if that T is silent. I think it's broguette. And then I do have the polyneura inner variety, which I will say, I can't wait for that to grow out. It is much more slower growing than, you know, my outer variegated or the jasminca. And so is the silver. The silver is very slow growing too. And to be honest, the OG green polyneura has been a slow grower for me too. So I'm not really sure. But this albo variegated has by far been the fastest growing out of all the polyneuras that I have. And I don't know, it just hits different. It's just so pretty. Like, look at those leaves. Just so pretty. Such a beautiful, beautiful trailing Hoya. And she sits in ambient conditions just like the jasminca. These are not in my plant cabinet. Well, they were. For the longest time, they were in my plant cabinet, but now these are just in ambient. And I say ambient, but like they're in the plant room on the plant shelves. But yeah, I want to say such a classic Hoya, but this is a Hoya that I think out of all the Hoyas that are on my list, this and one other. I have one other Hoya, but this one, by far, 10 out of 10, highly recommend. If you don't have one, you need this in your collection. Okay, the next plant, we are on number 4. So we are slowly approaching my top my number one top favorite plant, but we are on number 4. This is also a new plant that I recently acquired. She's still in the original pot, original mix. I haven't repotted her, but once her new leaf hardens off, we will go ahead and pot her in semi-hydro. But she is none other than, look at that beauty. This is Monstera albo. Like I said, she is one of my newer Monsteras. I think I got her before I got the Jungle Mint, no ID, but she is a newer Hoya. Like I said, she still is in the original mix. This is her newest leaf, which is a little weird. She lost some fenestrations. I'm not really sure what happened there, but she lost several fenestrations, and then her leaf never really upsized, so I'm not really sure what's going on with that. But this is her newest leaf. Look how pretty that is, that beautiful half moon. And then look at the minty tones on this, like right here. So stinking pretty. Such a beautiful plant. I bought this at Bare Root Botanicals with Lewis and Noah, and yeah, it was just so beautiful. I told myself when I went to the nursery I was going to buy a Monstera albo, and this is the one that I chose. So beautiful. I can't say I wasn't a fan of Monstera albos. I think what was off-putting initially in my plant journey was like the browning and the crisping that the white tends to do. But knock on wood, I haven't had an issue with any browning or crispy edges so far. And right now she's still in a soil mix, but eventually we'll get her transferred over to leca. I do want to try pon. I just can't bring myself to buy it, and I don't know why, but it's been sitting in my Amazon cart, so maybe I'll purchase it. But Monstera albo sitting at plant number 4. Look at how beautiful. Okay, this next plant is a Hoya. This is number 3 on the list. So these will be, the next 3 plants are gonna be my top 3 favorite plants in my entire collection. Like I said, all the plants I've shown are part of my top 10 favorites, but remember I was listing them from favorite to most favorite. So we are on number 3. And number 3 is a Hoya. It's a Hoya that I feel like I've been giving a lot of attention to, but it's just because the leaves have really just been speaking to me here recently. It's just been such a good grower. I really don't have any complaints, and I am not only a sucker for variegation, but I'm a sucker for Jurassic looking leaves. Like anything that looks prehistoric has been just something that I just tend to gravitate to, and that is none other than Hoya tanggamus, Tanggamus. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Tanggamus. I don't know, try saying that 10 times fast. But anyways, this is Hoya species Tanggamus AH Odin. And look at those leaves, guys. How freaking stunning is that? So Jurassic looking. These were the 2 leaves that came with the cutting, and she threw out this long tendril and then threw out these 2 leaves, and she threw out this leaf at some point. This one was a little bit smaller, but she's working on a new leaf. Look at the veining on that. Like, I don't even know, the camera's not even gonna do this plant any justice, which is so unfortunate. But these leaves right here, these are really the star of the show. This leaf right here and the one under it. So this has been a pretty easy Hoya to take care of. No complaints. I have really enjoyed watching this Hoya grow. And at first I wasn't sure about it because I'm not the biggest fan of large leaf Hoyas. Yeah, she's in a little 4-inch pot. I'm not the biggest fan of large leaf Hoyas, mainly because I don't have an outside greenhouse. You know, what you see is what you get. Like, I have the shelving unit behind me. Hopefully I'll get some other shelves on the green wall one day, but like, I just don't have the space to accommodate such big leaves. And I only have 2 large leaf Hoyas. The others are like medium and small leaf, but I would consider this to be a large leaf Hoya. And I wasn't sure about it, and I purchased it from Bare Root Botanicals, and I have not regretted it. This has been by far, I don't know, by far one of my, it has remained in my top 3 as far as favorite Hoyas are concerned. Just so stinking pretty. Like, tell me you don't think of like the Jurassic era or something, you know, very like prehistoric looking. I feel like it's just something you would like see like in a book. So it's pretty crazy that I own this in my collection. Yeah, and she's transitioned pretty well out from the living room and into the plant room. And these ruffled edges, look at those ruffled edges. They're very, like, not crinkly, but they're very wavy, ruffled edges. You know, she's got that to die for splash. Yeah. Every leaf is like different, but yet somehow kind of the same. And some leaves, their texture is different. Like, this one is more smooth. It looks like it should be extremely textured, but it's not. It's very, very smooth, versus this one actually has pretty good texture. Like, the veins are raised, you know, and then you've got like those, like I said, those ruffled edges. Yeah, so beautiful. 10 out of 10, I highly recommend for you to have in your collection. All right, this next plant is number 2 on the list. This is the only Alocasia that I have on today's list. I don't think I've featured her very much in any of my videos. I try to just kind of leave her be, in fear that if I look at her wrong, she's gonna die. But I have had this plant since she was just a wee little baby corm that I bought at PlantCon in Orlando. And she is none other than, none other than Alocasia Regal Shield Albo. Look at those leaves. The camera is making her appear much bigger than she actually is. For some reason, she's just growing very compact, but this is her newest leaf, so it is bigger than my hand. That upsize on the new leaf was pretty good, but look at that leaf. I don't even know if the camera will even pick up the coloring. No, like this right here is coming up more of like a purple on my end, but on camera, it's not really coming up that way. And then she throws off these pretty like minty white leaves. They're like a creamy color. They don't really ever go pure white. They pretty much stay, you know, pretty creamy, if not minty. And I bought her back when I didn't realize that purchasing a corm was such a risk. I just kind of thought like, oh, like you buy a corm and it's gonna look like exactly how you want it. At the time, I didn't know that variegation was unstable and that there was no way to determine whether or not like a corm was definitely gonna have variegation. And for all I knew, she was gonna sprout all white, you know, and then I would have been out that money, which really would have sucked. But she has not disappointed. Once again, I did buy this from Lewis and Noah at Bare Root Botanicals, and I send pictures to Lewis quite often of this plant. But yeah, such a beautiful plant. This new leaf is just to die for. It's like everything you ever want in a Regal Shield Albo. But she's still in a 5-inch pot. I do need to repot her. I mean, look at those roots. Like, that's craziness. Yeah, that's like insane. I try really hard not to overwater her just because she is extremely prone to edema. I don't know if you can see it on this leaf. Oh yeah, you can a little bit. She's extremely prone to edema, any amount of water, and she'll get edema. It's pretty crazy. So I do try to be mindful, but otherwise she's been an extremely easy, knock on wood, really easy alocasia to care for, and 10 out of 10 recommend, totally worth the money. And if my collection, if something ever happened, she would be one of the first 3 plants that I would not only grab, but if I had to restart my collection, this would be a plant that I would purchase, no questions asked. Look at how beautiful. Such a proud plant mom. Okay guys, so the last plant on the list is extremely sentimental. It is a Hoya. This is a Hoya that I will choose time and time again, over and over and over again. And I think it's just because it has that sentimental value. This was the plant that made me love Hoyas. And you guys have to remember, I did not like Hoyas initially. I wanted to be an Alocasia lover through and through. And although I do love Alocasias, Hoyas have just hit different. The versatility, the variety, the ease of Hoyas has just, I don't know, they're just so much better. I like that the variety is there when it comes to Hoyas. And this is the Hoya that made me love Hoyas. And that is none other than my Hoya Nova Ghost. So she started off with these 2 leaves down here at the bottom, and I got her just before summer, and this is what she has grown out to be. I don't know how often they bloom, but I will say she does have I don't know if the camera will pick it up. She does have a little peduncle right here. I don't know if the camera is going to pick it up, but she does have a little peduncle right there, if you can see it. And I'm so excited for her to bloom. She has just been the easiest plant that I have, and she just gives, every leaf is different. You know, you would, like when you think of a Nova Ghost, you think pure silver. That's all it's going to be, is all silver. Like this leaf or this one. And no, she throws out these pretty splashy leaves, you know, that turn out like this. Like, look how freaking beautiful that is. Or she'll throw out leaves that are kind of like muted, like kind of splashy, but still pretty silver. I don't know. This has just been, I don't know. She's my favorite plant in my whole collection, which, like I said, isn't very big. And like I would like to think I have a pretty wide variety of plants as far as like, not just like genus, but I don't want to say like design. Like every plant looks different in their own way. And she just stands out every time. She is by far my favorite plant in my collection. And I think, like I said, that's just because she has that sentimental value. Like, this is the plant that got me onto Hoyas. So I will continue to purchase Hoyas because of this plant. And yeah, I don't know, you know, like I have an Argentea Princess, which is essentially the Nova Ghost, but it's intervariegated. And if she were to revert, I would be sad. But at the same time, she's just going to revert back to a Nova Ghost. And I know regardless, I'm going to love her. I can always just pop them up together, and it is what it is. But here it is, top plant in my collection. If I had to restart, this would be the first plant that I would purchase. again. Okay guys, that is all I have for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did. Hey guys, it is a few days later and I am editing videos, and for some reason the outro to this video cut off halfway, so I am refilming it. But I just wanted to thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate everybody's love and support. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share with all your friends and family. And if you do have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. I am trying to be better at responding to comments in a timely manner. But thank you guys so much for watching and choosing to spend your time with me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.